Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Tuesday, 29th day of May. Today a halacha about putting on your tefillin. When you wrap your tefillin, from the moment that you begin, you say the bracha on your shel yad, from that moment until the shel rosh is securely fastened onto your head, the halacha is that you should not do any speaking at all. I don't know if you know this, but the halacha is that during that time you should not even be doing any communicating at all. Now let me explain that. Often when you're in the middle of something like Hallel, let's say, where you've made a bracha before and after Hallel, well there we would tell you don't speak during Hallel because you're in the middle of one long bracha, and it would be a hefsek or breaking the bracha. Here in the case of tefillin, it's actually worse. It's not only because you've just made a bracha, it's because the Torah tells us, "Ukshartem laos al yadecha," bind them on your hand, and immediately, "V'hayu latotafos beinenecha," and they shall be for a sign upon your head, between your eyes. And that's to indicate that it must be done kind of simultaneous with nothing happening in between. Therefore we don't speak and we don't even communicate. Now that means if someone comes up to you while you're in the middle of putting on your tefillin and says something totally inane like, where'd you get those sneakers? So of course you're not going to answer, but if you feel like doing something like saying new, or you feel like just motioning to your lips, or any kind of communication form that says to them, hey, not right now, so the halacha is that you're not allowed to do that either. You're not allowed to communicate at that time in any way, shape, or form. So that means if someone comes over to ask you one of those kinds of questions, you would actually have to just ignore them totally. It's a little bit uncomfortable, because if they don't get what you're doing, they're going to be a little put off by what you're doing when you don't respond to them at all. But that is actually what the halacha is supposed to be, because you can't communicate at that time at all. By the way, as a tangential point, but same on a different topic, the same thing applies when you're in the middle of saying Shema. While in the middle of saying Shema, you're not allowed to communicate at all. I'll tell you a quick story. There was once a great rabbi of the Gemara who was in the middle of, he was at his merchant's shop, and it was time to say Shema, so he just started saying Shema, when along came an Arab and offered him a price on some item that was on his table. So he did our law, he didn't respond at all, nothing. So the Arab said, tough bargainer. So we offered him 10. Got no response. So we offered him 20. Got no response. He kept upping the value and he kept getting no response. Until finally he was way up in the stratosphere offering so much for that item when the rabbi finally finished Shema and said, okay, I'll sell it to you. So the Arab merchant was so upset that he'd have to pay such a high price, and the rabbi said to him, no, just pay me that original price that you suggested. Now the Arab was totally bewildered. He said, first you bargained me up to 500 and then you offer me to sell it to me for just 5? What's up with that? And the rabbi said 5 was a fair price, and I only want to sell it to you at a fair price. I just couldn't respond to you earlier because I was in the middle of speaking with my God on a matter during which no communication is allowed. The Arab, of course, was duly impressed. Tremendous Kiddush Hashem happened, the sanctification of God's name, using today's law. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.